what's the journey you've been on with medication and ADHD?
Yeah, so when I first got diagnosed, I was kind of like, I didn't go into the diagnostic process thinking that I would go on medication. It was very much more for like understanding, validation, whatever. And I was kind of like, I'm not really interested in. I think I had really, I was very reluctant to go on medication because of the experience that I'd had with antidepressants.
Mm-hmm.
I was put on antidepressants at 15. By 17, I was on like the maximum dosage that a fully grown adult man can be on, which is, clearly not great to happen. And I couldn't get out of bed and all of this stuff. So for me, I was very much like, I don't want to be back on medication. And then I had a friend that was going through the ADHD diagnosis process at the same time. And she was kind of in the same place. And she was like, I've been looking on Reddit and everyone kind of says that it is really helpful. And she's like, I just feel like it would be silly for me to have gone to all of this effort to get the diagnosis to not even give it a go. And I was like, actually, you kind of like, that makes sense what you're saying there. I was like, I think I might give it a go. Like, if I don't like it, I can not take it, but at least I know this way.
What did you believe the medication was going to do?
I think I wasn't really sure. I think when I'd looked online, it was people sort of saying that they could just think about one thing at a time, which
okay, yeah.
I was like, that's fake news. I think as well, because like the only other sort of similar experience I'd had was antidepressants, and that's not almost like a tangible difference. It's just like kind of gradually over time, things feel less intense, I guess. So yeah, I think I didn't really know what to expect, but I took it at like, 8 a.m. And then within half an hour, I was on the phone to my mum crying of like, I can just like, my brain is quiet. I can like think,
wow,
this is just amazing. I don't know. Like, I was like, my brain is just quiet. I can just remember this. Like, I think I probably don't, like, I'm used to it now, but I can remember the first thing of being like, almost like feeling like I was in like an echoey room of like, oh, is this like what this people room. Have, yeah. I'm like, is this what people have been having their whole lives of like, it was like the first silence, almost like, when you like turn the extractor fan off after you've been cooking and you're like, it was like that inside my brain.
Noise.
Yeah. But then very strangely, that was also the day that I posted my LinkedIn post, which was like the first post that went viral, which is like kind of what kickstarted all of this. So it's like I had 30 minutes of silence, and then it was like I've not had a quiet moment since. But yeah, so I kind of been on the same medication since then. I went up a bit in dosage, and then I've come back down a bit in dosage since I've been self-employed, because I kind of found, I think it's really tricky as an autistic ADHD as well, because when I'm on medication, it is amazing in terms of I can do things, basically. Like I can get started, I can sit and work, rather than I feel like when I'm not on medication, it's like dragging huge weights on my feet to do anything. Everything's just hard, whereas the medication makes it just easier to do things. But I also can't rest if I've taken my medication, because it is this like, I'm almost like insatiable for like stimulation and work, and like I need to be doing something. I'm like a capitalism machine when I'm on medication. Like I need to be achieving something, I need to be working, I need to be doing something. So as an autistic person, that's not ideal, because I need to rest. So I've kind of got to a place now where I'll take it like 3 or 4 days a week, and then over the weekend I won't take it, so I can actually like switch off. But I think it's a very personal choice. I think a lot of people choose to go without medication. I think maybe if I was like in like different places in life as well. Like I think when I go on holiday, for example, I probably will only take it like every few days, just to make sure that I'm not then just like, I don't know, going cold turkey. But it's not, if I was traveling, for example, I think at that point I probably wouldn't be on medication at that time, because I don't need to be able to like work in the same way. But I think definitely for like productivity, I can't imagine not having it and having to do anything of any value.
You kind of said obviously everything went crazy. You put the LinkedIn post out. Being autistic and ADHD and seeing what has happened to you in like just the being catapulted into the media, partnerships, social, just being an author. I know you'll be such a massive inspiration to people. Tell me how this last year has felt for you, not what you've done, because I've given people a sense of that, but just tell me how it's felt.
Yeah, I think it's a really difficult one, because it is like balancing that like immense like gratitude and just like disbelief almost of like what the actual heck is going on. Like my life could not be any more different. Like 3 years ago I dropped out of school, so I don't have A levels. I had to decline my uni offers because my mental health was just, I could not have left home at the time. Never had a job for more than a year. Was like constantly in this cycle of just having awful mental health, just like convinced I wasn't going to go anywhere in life, because how could I, when every 6 months I had this like awful anxiety and depression, to now like I've done a TED talk, I've written a book, like I'm doing all these amazing things. Like it is sort of that combination of immense gratitude. But it sometimes is so tricky to feel that, because I get so burnt out, which makes my emotions just impossible to regulate, and so tired. And it's like almost this like constantly like swinging pendulum of like, I'm like, this is the best thing in the world. And I'm like, I can't do this for another day. Like I need to stop right now. I think it's tricky to find that sweet spot where it's like, if I don't talk about the hard times, then I'm doing the opposite of what I've set out to do. I'm talking about, let's unmask, let's be ourselves, let's like do things our way. If I'm then just being like, I achieved this and I achieved this and I achieved this, then that's not doing that. And it's sort of pushing this false narrative. Like the way that I live is not a healthy way for an autistic person to live. Like it's not normal for me to be doing the amount of stuff that I'm doing, and I do pay the consequences. Whereas if other people are seeing that I'm just doing all that and not seeing the other side, then they're like, well, I should be able to do that and I should be able to do more things. And so it's like, I definitely don't want to have that. But then also, I don't want it to be all doom and gloom and me crying on my stories. And like, also I shouldn't have to prove my struggles for them to be accepted. And I think sometimes it feels like, people are like, oh, but you're so like high functioning and you must have mild, or like all of this just like massively incorrect stuff that is so problematic.
Let's just bash those down though now for people listening and watching. High functioning as a term.
Yeah, no.
What do you think about that?
Awful, horrendous. I think basically high functioning means able to perform under capitalism. What you mean is I'm able to work, I'm able to earn money, and I'm able to live on my own. That's what you mean by high functioning. I'm able to do things, earn money, live alone.
Which basically means I'm able to earn money and spend the money.
Yeah.